You're listening to the Battle Belongs podcast, where real stories meet unwavering truth. This show is a space for bold conversations, powerful testimonies, and unshakable faith. In a culture at war with truth, we're here to remind you, the battle doesn't belong to us. The battle belongs to the Lord.
We're back here on the Battle Belongs podcast, and we have yet another guest. And she will be familiar to some of you because we've had her son on to discuss his story and just upbringing and testimony of what God's done in his life. But now we bring on Mama Bear. Kaci Allen's here with us. Kaci, if you were to describe yourself as a wing flavor, like a chicken wing flavor, what would you be and why?
In the world?
A wing flavor?
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Like I'm garlic parm.
Spicy.
Yeah. Okay. Like a...
I don't
No,
know.
you're like a sweet and hot.
Sweet and hot.
Hot and
I'll
spicy.
take that.
Yeah.
Sweet and spicy.
I'd agree with
Sweet
that.
Because you're
and
like
hot.
very sweet, down to earth, but then
But
if you need to be, you can be
What are you?
mild. Some people love me, some people hate me.
What's
I don't
the,
like mine.
Okay.
What's the one that like you feel like later way down the road
You're
when
like,
you're like, oh,
ooh.
that just hit me.
Like
I didn't
Shaquille
even
O'Neal when he was
know.
eating a wing, he's like, these ain't bad. Ooh. That's Kaci. So it's like initially like, wow, the flavor. Whoa.
Wow. Initially it was great. Then it was like, oh, terrible.
He needs some milk.
terrible.
I didn't say terrible.
You said bad.
What? No.
Run
No,
it
the
back.
flavor is like what we just said, hot and spicy, or what is it?
Sweet and hot.
Sweet and spicy.
Sweet and
Sweet and
hot.
spicy.
Oh my God.
It's like an Asian zing.
That's
Oh,
awesome.
But I
I
wouldn't
don't
call
think
her an
she's-
Asian zing. So I asked that question to our Bible study group on Sunday, and there was a lot of interesting answers there. But anyways, beside my
Sweet and
stupidity,
hot.
go ahead and take it from here.
Me, I think we should just open up to Kaci. So we heard her son's story, and now we get to hear mom's side of the story. So first of all, I think you should just like tell us about your upbringing, who you are, where you came from, and then we can get to your story.
Yeah, so I grew up in a little town, as you know, Conway, South Carolina.
Crazy.
Shocking, I know. I can't really talk about my childhood without talking about Langston because that was my childhood. I mean, we were Sunday morning, Sunday school, Sunday preaching, Wednesday night. I think it was called like Act Teens or something, you know, or Sunday morning, Sunday night, Wednesday night, Thursday night visitation. Anytime the doors were open, we were there. We were there so often that I remember taking naps in my Sunday dress because it was just too much effort to get undressed and dressed back again because we were going right back. So our best friends were a part of the church. I grew up there. Conway, my granny lived just a couple miles from us. She's the original granny of Granny's Florist.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and Steve Jones, she was real close to my mom and worked with my granny there. And then when my granddad passed away, he bought it. And he is, oh my gosh, I don't think any of us ever dreamed it would become what he has made it. It's phenomenal. Played softball, learned to play sports here, learned to swim in the ocean, grew up, you know, just a pretty normal, I think normal, church-centric childhood.
Typical Horry County.
Typical Horry County. Just easy,
Yeah.
you know. Only child, but my best friend TJ had an older brother who used to throw me off his dirt bike, so it was like having two siblings. Older, they're both older than me, so that's important.
Yeah.
So you grew up here, and then you went off to college at what, Belmont?
Yeah, I went to Belmont. So I grew up here. Like I said, everything was involved in church, but my dad, he was really sick when I was growing up for a lot of the time. I'm an only child primarily because they didn't think he was going to live. He had Crohn's disease back in the 80s. They didn't know much about it. So he was a guinea pig for a lot of the surgeries that caused him a lot of problems later, but he felt like God had been calling him into ministry for a decade, I think, or more. At the time, he and my mom owned a couple video production companies in Conway. They were, I think, the first on the East Coast to do mass production of VHS. I don't know if you know what those
I
are.
have a lot of them.
Okay. Well, they could do like a wedding or a like dance recital and have 300 copies of them in an hour.
Oh, wow.
For distribution for everybody. They came home one day and my dad said, yeah, I've got this new client. His name's like Bon Jovi or something like that. And I'm like, Dad, oh, you didn't call him that, right? And he was like, yeah, he's a nice guy. And I'm like pulling out my little magazine, like, is this the guy? He goes, yeah. I'm like, oh, Dad, why didn't you pick me up from school? Please don't ever call him that. I'm like my dad's PR agent, you know,
PJ,
at
do you know
8.
who she's talking about?
Yeah, Bon Jovi.
Okay. Look,
PJ's over there.
I'm
living on a prayer.
uncultured in a lot of things, but so are you. So I just want to make sure.
Continue.
So Bon Jovi. So they had an awesome. We had an awesome childhood. My dad's best friend lives next door, Mr. Ron. You guys know Mr. Ron and Miss Linda.
Shout out to Ron.
One of my favorite humans on the
He's
planet.
not listening.
But you have a little faith. Colton.
Yeah. I'm going to send this to Ron.
Do it.
I'm gonna send it too. So anyway, grew up having birthday parties with him and Grant, and just good community. But my dad felt like he was called into full-time ministry, and so we moved when I was in the 8th grade to a small church in Tabor City, North Carolina. So while he was in seminary, and then we moved to Spartanburg, which is where I went to high school. So I went to Dorman High School. Go Cavaliers. I did not go to the high school that is there now, the small college campus. Mine was a smaller school where the Walmart is now. So they tore our school down. But through that, had hopes to play in the Olympics in 2000 on the U.S. women's softball team. Had a collision at home plate, blew out my knee, ended up playing for Belmont. Moved to Belmont. Loved the music business. Was a music business major, minor in marketing. Did background vocals, interned at ASCAP, NSAI, sang for just about every artist in town. That was my career path, was going to be something in the music business, until things shifted significantly.
Tell us a little bit about what happened and what shifted.
So, there was a lot. Graduated from Belmont, built my first house, had a lot of really high goals. I wanted to build my first house before I was 23. And just, I was very goal oriented. I know y'all probably shocked to hear that, but
No.
very driven, very competitive.
No. Couldn't be.
When people said that can't be done, watch me.
Watch this.
Watch this.
Hold my beer.
Hold my
Wine.
Perrier.
Yeah.
Colton.
I don't drink beer.
That's why it's so random that they do. I don't either.
I don't know. It's the same.
Anyways.
Anyway, hold my keys. Here we go. I'm going to watch me.
Right.
So anyway, I guess the long story short is, I was actually at home one night and my next door neighbor brought a guy over. Now, people will say you have to put feet to your prayers. God's not just going to drop somebody off on your front doorstep. And that's exactly what happened. She came over with this guy and said, I think y'all would be good friends, and I'm going home. So she literally left him on my front doorstep. Well, I said, you're not coming in, obviously. So we went and had dinner. We dated for a couple of years. We had struggled with intimacy and having a godly relationship. And so we had gone to a couple in my church. He was Church of Christ. I went to a large non-denominational church, sang in their choir for like 6 years. And we went to this couple and said, look, we need some accountability around our boundaries, which are lacking, to say the least. So we had started in real good community with them. Well, one night we just messed up. We crossed lines, and we had a huge fight after it. It was like we had discussed not doing this anymore, and like I couldn't blame him because it takes two people. And so got mad at him, wanted to break up, and the next night went out with my roommate. We just needed a girls' night. So we went out and had sushi, had drinks. I had a green apple martini, which is my favorite drink back in the day, long time ago, back in my fast. And this guy that I knew of in the music business but had never met came over and offered to buy me a drink. Well, of course, he was hot. I wanted, yes, please. So I don't know. My roommate excused herself. I don't know if he put something in it or if he had somebody put something in it. But I know that very quickly after that second martini arrived, things started getting hazy. Kind of the room started spinning. I remember just feeling like I'm going to pass out. Things are very kind of hit or miss as far as what I remember over the next 10 hours. I remember him putting me into his car, looking back now, I'm thinking, why didn't anybody like question that? Or
Yeah.
maybe I just looked like a drunk girl just stumbling around from a bar. I mean, it was a sushi bar. But I remember him putting me in the car. I don't remember leaving the restaurant. I remember being in a parking garage, driving in circles, thinking this car is going to flip. Because I thought we were doing donuts. And then I realized later we're in a parking garage going up the levels to his I guess, penthouse loft in downtown Nashville. And then for the next, like I said, 10 hours, it was sexual assault in ways that are just too graphic to discuss on camera. At one point, I mean, he took my keys from me. He took my phone. I didn't know where my clothes were. I hate saying the word kidnapped, but I was being held hostage.
Yeah.
I didn't know what to do, where to go. If I ran out into the street naked, where am I going to end up? The things that happened to me that night, again, there are some very vivid memories. There are some things that only have been discussed with 3 people. One is a therapist and one is a pastor. Because of just the weight that they carry and those images that I still hold on to. I don't want to share those with a lot of people because I don't want to put those images in other people's mind. But I will say that there was at one point he had taken me into his shower, and I have this visual memory of being on the ground of the shower on the floor and thinking, man, if I could scoop up enough water to drown myself somehow, like I could get out of this, because I didn't think I was going to survive it. And I didn't know how much worse it could get. So I just kept thinking, man, if there's any way I could just dam up enough water here to drown myself, I could end this. I could get out of this. The next morning, it was like Jekyll and Hyde. It was like, oh man, what a great night. Turning on the charm, like the charm that I had known from the night before when I first met him. Well, that was an experience, wasn't it? And that was just like all the words that I won't say on this podcast, but are you kidding me? So he drove me home. And then when I got home, he was basically like, it's my word against yours. Nobody will ever believe you. And if you tell anybody, that's the end of you. So I go inside and I'm terrified, and this guy now knows where I live. I go upstairs and I took like 3 or 4 showers that day, just trying to get the gross off of me. I called my therapist that I had met in Belmont. Hadn't talked to him for a couple years, but I just said, hey, something bad's happened. I need to come in and talk to you. Couldn't even tell him really what happened. Just kind of sat on the floor and said, something bad's happened. I got hurt really bad. The next week, a little more details. The next week, a few more details. 5 weeks in, I'm going to I think I was going to Blockbuster. Now, I know you've never been to a Blockbuster.
I've been to a Blockbuster.
I've not been to a Blockbuster.
What?
I know what
You're
it
older
is,
than
but
me, too.
Hollywood Video is what we used to go to.
I don't know what that is.
Well,
is that like the fancy Blockbuster?
We didn't really have I remember there being a Blockbuster, but I was born in 97, and so I probably wasn't until like early 2000s that I started going to the rent a movie and stuff. So
Wow.
they probably took it out towards the earlier days of my life.
97.
01. Share
90?
yours.
Okay, 97 is when I graduated high school, and 01 is when I graduated college. So
Fair.
Here we are.
I'm only 21.
Age is just wisdom. So
Yeah. So I think I had gone to Blockbuster to get a movie or rent a movie. And somehow, I overthink everything, but I was thinking dates, times, and something's not adding up. I'm late, like a week late. What are the chances? So I went to Walgreens, bought a pregnancy test, took it in the Walgreens. It was positive. I was like, there's no way. So I drove across the street to Walmart, bought the most expensive test that they had because I thought this was just poor quality. Took it. It was positive. I think I bought like 8 or 9 more tests because I was like, there's going to be a negative one. I'm just going to keep taking them until the one's negative. So I reached out to that lady that was holding us accountable for our relationships and went over to her house and said, okay, here's the deal. And she's like, okay. And I'm like, no. Theresa said, like, not okay. And she's like, what are you nervous about? I'm like, hello? She's like, we haven't been to the doctor yet. And I'm like, I know. But so far, 7 tests have come back positive. She's like, okay, stop taking pregnancy tests. Like, stop doing that. And then she said, women have babies every day. Like, I don't have babies every day. And then we have the conversation about my boyfriend versus this person that I had never met, but this horrible thing that had happened, and having to reconcile, like, not knowing whose baby this could be.
Mm-hmm.
So she went with me to my first doctor's appointment. The nurse comes in and says, oh, your due date is. I'm like, wait, no, what my due date is. Like, back it up.
Yeah.
Like, I was hoping, like, you have, like, the real test. You're going to tell me
Negative.
false positive, whatever. And her name was Marcia. And she said, do you want me to go get your friend? I'm like, I do. Like, I can't breathe. I'm suffocating. So she comes in and we talk, and my doctor and I were young life leaders together. I had met him years before, and then he ended up getting married, and he and his wife started Young Life the same time I did. And I was like, I can't be young life leaders with my gynecologist. That's kind of weird. His wife said, please don't stop seeing him. He loses patients. He becomes friends with them. Anyway, we were really good friends. And he was like, hey, I know you're scared, but just know there's so-and-so that can't have kids in our church. There's this couple, they'll gladly adopt this child. Like, don't even let it be a concern of yours. And adoption had never really crossed my mind. None of this had really crossed my mind. It was all just new, and what am I going to do? My parents don't even know at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So that was another whole conversation that had to be had. My doctor suggested, I think he suggested waiting till at least 8 weeks, maybe the first trimester was over before I told anybody. So when I did, I went to my parents and told them, I'm going to my dad's parsonage, and saying, hey, there's this thing that I've got to talk to y'all about. I handle most everything on my own, but I don't know how to handle this. And I told him, I said, I'm pregnant. And my mom immediately says, oh, there it goes. All your hopes and dreams are just ruined. I'm like, and my dad's
Thanks.
like, yeah, I know. I'm like, thanks, Mom, it's kind of what I was thinking anyway. Thanks for
Validating it.
validating exactly my fears. My dad said, whose is it? And I told him it could, be the boyfriend, or here's what happened to me. And in very, very brief, vague terms, talked to him about what had happened. And his response was, I just need a name and an address. I've lived a good life. And he was just like, I'm this guy.
Now I know where you get it from.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
It's totally
That makes
him.
sense.
Totally him. He's like, name and address. I'm done. I had my first ultrasound pictures. We talked a little bit about it. I said, well, my doctor mentioned adoption, and my dad said, if anybody adopts this baby, it's going to be me. Like, he's not, my grandson's not going to be, he was already calling him grandson, didn't know the gender. He was like, my grandson's not going to be raised by somebody we don't know. I'll adopt him. Didn't ask my mom, didn't include her, but he was like, I'm in. So I said, well, I've got ultrasound pictures. Do y'all want to see them? And Mom was like, no, I'm not ready for that. Dad was like, yeah. And I'm pretty sure that week he went out and bought him a baseball and a soccer ball and football. Like, he was all in from the beginning. My mom obviously came around not long after that, but the initial shock was tough on her. And then my next conversation that had to be had was with our church, with our choir pastor. It was a large church, a couple thousand people. We had, I think, about 200 in our choir. And so my Bible study leader had gone with me to the assistant director and said, here's what happened. And our college pastor at the time, they were very supportive, whatever we can do. She was going to talk to the choir directors for me, and we were going to go talk to the associate pastor of the church. It was Christ Church Nashville, huge choir. They do used to do a ton of recordings, like kind of along the lines of Brooklyn Tabernacle. And just my best music days were singing with that choir. But we went and had a conversation with the associate pastor, who basically said, you're single, pregnant, it doesn't look good, you can't sing in the choir anymore. So I shortened that up to say I got kicked out of the choir, because that's basically what happened. Well, the lady that was with me, she was livid. she's one of the most godly women I've ever known. And I thought she was going to tear his head off. I mean, she was like, "You're kidding me. The people in your choir that are doing this and this and this, and they just have been caught yet." And she said, "You're basically telling her if she has an abortion, she can sing, right? Because then she won't be pregnant anymore." He's like, "Oh, no, I didn't say that." She's like, "Well, what is this? Why are you being punitive here?"
Yeah.
It's not like she just did this and got caught. Like, she has been doing life with us for quite some time. And this is not just one of those things. Also, there's a significant trauma here. Excuse me. So then the pastor brought it back around and said, "Well, I think she just needs a time of healing and, a break."
Cover up.
Right. Let's just take time to heal. Well, I'm like, what's that look like? I mean, am I going to go through a class or something? You're going to teach me how to be a single parent? I don't know what that looks like. The negotiation became, you can practice with the choir on Wednesday nights, but you can't sing on Sunday mornings. That was the compromise.
That was the healing process.
That's so crazy because the church should be the first place that extends a welcoming hand, no matter what you're going through. The church should always be the first place that you would want to go to find refuge and comfort. And then no wonder why so many people have church hurt because of instances like this.
Right. And not a lot of people want to talk about them because they don't want to. I mean, I know I didn't want to talk about it for a long time because I didn't want to hurt somebody else's opinion of the church who could end up having a good experience, and I didn't want to taint that.
Yeah.
But the choir director thought it was a bad idea. She was like that. She can't have this choir ripped out from under her. That's her community. The head pastor at the time didn't agree as either, but his wife had cancer and was dying, and he was going to fix it. I'm like, no, like, you need to spend your time with her. She ended up passing away in January while I was pregnant with Ethan. And I showed up to sing at her funeral, and that associate pastor kind of looked at me like, "What are you doing here?" And I'm like, "This is a hill I will die on." I'm like, I respect this family so much. The head pastor, the senior pastor, Pastor Hardwick, their relationship, I don't know how many years they were married, like 55, 60. I mean, some like amazing couple. Like, I'm going to sing at her funeral. And he just looked at me. He didn't say anything. He just turned around and walked away. It was like that mama bear moment, I guess, like, now's not the day. Today's not the one.
Sir.
Not today, Satan. I mean, Pastor.
Crazy.
Yeah, so I finished up basically sitting in the balcony for the 9 months of being pregnant with Ethan, feeling like I'd been branded with this scarlet letter on my chest, and was told, don't talk about the decisions we make, as we're doing this for your own good, and never understood that. 3 friends of mine, 2 from one of the choir directors and the assistant choir director, and my friend Fran actually threw me a baby shower at the church. So there was church hurt there, but there was also church love and support too. It was just that huge part of my life was music, and I just had it just ripped away. Well, Ethan was born on the 7th of March, and I think it was the 10th of March. I got an email from that pastor saying I could sing again.
That's so crazy.
3 days later.
And
Wow.
hadn't thought about that one.
Anyways.
But he said you can sing again on Sundays, and it was that point where I was like, I'll never sing in a church choir ever again. So
Here we are now.
Here we are. And so
Still holding to that.
for the lovely people who keep telling me they're saving me a seat, there's that. I've also learned that never is not a good word, but I'm coachable. But I also have no interest in that because that was a really hard time, and that support just being gone. There's a lot of wounds there, for that. But I got Ethan.
Yeah.
And here we are back in Conway, South Carolina, at Langston, a place I said I also would never go back to. Yeah. Not because of anything bad, but it's just, when you close the chapter and you close the book, you walk away from something and you just think I'm never going back there again.